In less than a generation, Dubai's population soared from 500,000 to over 3.5 million, fueled by more than $300 billion poured into record-breaking towers, islands, and malls, all promising endless opportunity. But as warnings mount, with apartment prices tumbling 30% and vacancies reaching 40% in some blocks, investors and experts are asking if the dream is unraveling. What's really driving expats to reconsider their future here, and who stands to lose the most when hypergrowth meets hard reality? Glass, steel, and ambition transformed Dubai from a quiet port into a global spectacle. In the 1990s, the city's population hovered around 500,000. By 2020, more than 3.5 million people called Dubai home, most of them drawn by the promise of tax-free salaries and a lifestyle that seemed to defy gravity. Over $300 billion flooded into the city's infrastructure, fueling a construction spree that made headlines around the world. The skyline became a monument to possibility. The Burj Khalifa, rising 828 meters, claimed the title of the world's tallest building. The Palm Jumeirah, a man-made archipelago shaped like a palm tree, stretched into the Gulf, an engineering marvel visible from space. Dubai Mall opened its doors as the largest shopping center on the planet, attracting millions of visitors each year. Each project was bigger, bolder, and more expensive than the last, feeding a sense that Dubai had cracked the code for limitless growth. Investors flocked from London, Mumbai, Moscow, and Shanghai, lured by zero income tax and a business-friendly climate. Capital poured into off-plan apartments, luxury penthouses, and office towers. In a single year, developers could sell out entire skyscrapers before a shovel hit the sand. From 2000 to 2020, Dubai's population grew by more than 7 times, creating a demand for 150 new homes every single day. Jebel Ali Port became one of the world's busiest, and the Dubai International Financial Centre emerged as a regional powerhouse for banking and investment. For many, Dubai appeared to offer a rare combination: the freedom to earn without tax, a cosmopolitan lifestyle, and the thrill of living in a city that seemed to reinvent itself overnight. The pace was relentless, the ambition contagious. But when growth moves this fast, the risks often remain hidden, at least until the momentum falters. Apartment towers once filled with eager buyers now face a different reality. By late 2025, analysts began to question whether Dubai's relentless pace could outstrip real demand. In neighborhoods like Jumeirah Village Circle and parts of Dubailand, new builds stood half-lit at night, evidence of a growing supply and not enough residents to fill them. Real estate data showed 152,400 units launched in 2025, but only about 1 in 5 reached completion. That left a pipeline of over 210,000 units, with apartments making up the lion's share. Economists warn that the numbers do not add up. Dubai is not likely going to crash. Dubai is going to rebalance. Some segments will perhaps fall, some will outperform, one market analyst explained, reviewing CBRE and ValueStrat data. The city's overall property market posted a 7.4% price increase for apartments in 2026, but that headline figure hides sharp differences. Villas and townhouses, limited in supply, saw double-digit gains. In contrast, new apartment clusters, especially those far from metro stops or business districts, struggled to attract buyers. Off-plan sales, once snapped up before the first crane arrived, now lingered. Some buyers, lured by glossy brochures and payment plans, found themselves waiting as construction delays mounted. More than 80% of the 131,000 unit development pipeline faced pushbacks, leaving investors in limbo. ValueStrat's quarterly reports highlighted the risk oversupply concentrated in areas with weak resale demand and tepid rental yields. Rental growth, which had powered investor returns, flattened to zero in 2025. For the first time in years, the city's real estate machine showed signs of strain. The warning signs are clear in the numbers. Price growth has slowed, vacancy rates are rising in peripheral districts, and absorption rates for new apartments trail far behind launches. The market's momentum is uneven, exposing the imbalance between ambition and absorption. As inventory piles up, the concern shifts from how high Dubai can build to how much the city can actually fill. Dubai's financial model depends on more than just glitzy towers and headline-grabbing projects. Beneath the surface, a complex web of government-related debt supports the city's relentless expansion. By 2026, Dubai's government debt stands at more than $50 billion, with government-related entities facing another $78 billion in repayments over the next few years. Oil revenue, once the backbone of Gulf economies, now covers only about 5% of Dubai's budget. The city has bet its future on non-oil sectors, real estate, tourism, logistics, and finance. But this strategy comes with leverage. Economists warn that a wall of debt maturities is approaching. Major bonds and loans taken out by government-related entities like DP World and Dubai Holding are set to come due by 2026 and 2027. Refinancing these obligations in a world of rising interest rates and global uncertainty is no simple task. Rating agencies such as Fitch and S&P have flagged the risks, projecting a potential 10 to 15% correction in property prices if debt markets tighten or investor sentiment sours. Yet these same agencies stop short of predicting a crash. Dubai's financial system remains liquid, and the government has demonstrated an ability to roll over debt and attract new capital. The pressure, though, is real. With so much debt clustered around a few key years, even a temporary loss of confidence could ripple across the city's banks, developers, and job market. Analysts point to the 2009 Dubai World Crisis, a 6-month standstill on $59 billion in debt, as a reminder of how quickly liquidity can dry up. Today, the numbers are bigger, but so are the buffers. Still, the question remains, how much leverage is too much for a city built on borrowed time? The numbers on Dubai's balance sheet do not just affect banks and developers, they ripple through the lives of the people who built their futures here. For years, expats came for the promise of zero income tax and a lifestyle that felt out of reach back home. But by 2026, the ground has shifted. The introduction of a 9% corporate tax in 2023 caught many businesses off guard. For some, the new tax is manageable. For others, especially smaller firms and entrepreneurs, it is a tipping point. Rising school fees, surging rents, and higher service charges eat into paychecks, making the city feel less like a tax haven and more like an expensive gamble. Recruiters report that while Dubai still attracts talent, more professionals are weighing their options. Some cite offers from places like Neom, which promises generous relocation packages and the excitement of building something new from scratch. Others mention the pressure of keeping up with rising costs, especially as employers become more cautious with salary increases. One investor, after a decade in Dubai, explains his decision to relocate. He says, "The numbers just stopped working. Between the new taxes and the cost of living, my margins disappeared. NEOM called and I listened." The result is visible in the city's landscape. Apartments that once had waiting lists now sit empty for months. Office towers in business districts advertise floors for lease that would have been snapped up in days just a few years ago. The city's relentless drive for growth is running up against the realities of global competition and the limits of affordability. For the first time in a generation, the expat dream in Dubai is starting to look uncertain. The unfinished world islands scattered just off Dubai's coast stand as a stark reminder of what happens when ambition races ahead of reality. More than 15 years after launch, roughly 3/4 of these artificial islands remain untouched. Bare sand, no roads, no homes, no hotels. Nearby, a cluster of towers in Business Bay and Jumeirah village, Circle, sits in limbo. Construction frozen midway, glass facades reflecting empty lots instead of bustling life. In some new enclaves, occupancy rates barely register, with entire blocks waiting for residents who may never arrive. This landscape isn't just a product of oversupply. The city's pivot to tourism and services, once hailed as the answer to oil's decline, now faces its own limits. Dubai welcomed over 17 million visitors in 2025, but hotel occupancy rates have begun to plateau, and a growing number of luxury rooms sit vacant. Retail, too, shows signs of strain as new malls compete for a shrinking pool of high-spending shoppers. With temperatures pushing 50 degrees Celsius each summer and water sourced almost entirely from energy-intensive desalination plants, the city's long-term sustainability faces mounting questions. An economist from the London School of Economics puts it bluntly: Dubai's challenge isn't just filling buildings, it's adapting to a world where climate, competition, and debt all demand a new kind of resilience. Dubai's skyline still dazzles, but resilient transaction volumes now mask deeper questions about debt, oversupply, and regional competition. As experts warn, stability is not guaranteed, especially with $100 billion in maturities looming by 2026. The real test for Dubai's promise is only just beginning. Share your thoughts below.